Well, I guess that's one positive for the morning. The car's not frozen over. Literally, over the last few days, there has been constant blocks of ice on the back of my car. And yet, still no snow for us in Portsmouth. We just get a whole load of this, which is a lot of rain. But that is not going to stop us. As you can probably tell from the title, we're going to go check out some cars, and then I kind of want to talk to you about where we're at with the MX5 and where we're going. Pretty much the plans of what we're going to do next, and that will kind of explain why there hasn't been much done to it already. But first things first, let's head to Portsmouth and see if any cool cars decided to brave the weather today. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about watching the steam come out the exhaust on a cold morning that's just... Although I think I'm going to unplug this thing, because just look how long it is. I look like a literal bumper car. And I don't like the little antennas that a lot of people put there, so I think I'm just going to unplug it and leave it how it looks when the car's off. But we're almost ready to go. Let's just get there before everyone decides to leave. Right, so I've just pulled up actually in the meet this week, because as I was driving in, the person that runs it was driving out, so I'm guessing they just gave it up for this week. There is still a couple cars here, and there's still a couple showing up, so we'll go check them out. But I'm pretty sure it's because the meet's actually on the second and the last Sunday, but this is the first Sunday, because Alton, there's another meet that they run up in Alton, that comes down here over winter for the first Sunday. And you know, like, not a lot of us who come to here will go up to Alton, and not a lot of people from Alton really come down here, especially when it's raining, so I'm guessing that just means not a lot of people would show up. The MX5 isn't in its cleanest state since I've had it. I really haven't had much time to clean it, and when I have, all the jet washers around me have been closed, and I want a jet wash underneath because I'm trying to fend off the rust as much as possible. So I guess you can kind of say this is the first time that MX5 has made it into the Port Solent car meet. I need to come up with a name for her because I don't like calling it the MX5 all the time. When the meet's on, she's not allowed in because she's not pre-1995, and I don't have a dyno printout to prove she's over 400 horsepower, so what can you do? Although there was a little bit of an uproar a couple weeks ago because we walked in and there were two Mark II MX5s, that silver one that you've seen in a few videos, and a green automatic Mark II bone stock, which obviously doesn't fit the requirements. And that was the same week that my friend Jordan tried getting in, who you'll see in a minute, and he has a green Mark II, literally the exact same but manual, and he got turned away. I mean, his is modified with a juice kit and a livery, so maybe that's the reason why, but I can't see it being so. Now, I've never tried to get in because my car doesn't fit the requirements, which is absolutely fine, but you shouldn't say like the requirements are strict to one car and not the other when they're the exact same, if you get what I mean. Speaking of it, there's Jordan now. As you can see, his is a little bit more modified than mine is. He's got the juice kit with the Invicta livery, and he does have a welded diff as well. Now, if you haven't seen my car reveal video, go check that out because it's probably my favourite video I've ever recorded. But I was saying how I didn't know there was more than one type of green on an MX5. Jordan was just zip tying his rear bumper on, but this is a clear example how mine is Nordic green, and this is what you normally see on MX5s, which is emerald green. I hope the camera's picking this up, but there is quite a clear difference between the two. Now, juice kits have really grown on me since owning my MX5. I never used to really like them. However, I still don't think this is the route I'm going to go down on mine. But we'll talk about that later. Now, we have got a couple more friends on the way. And speaking of it, there's one of them now. There's Ying. This is Ying's Nissan Bluebird. This one actually does fit the requirements to come into Port Solent normally. It is really cool. But we need to check out some of the few cars that are here because they're already leaving. Starting with probably the coolest car here, this Ford Capri. No, definitely the coolest car here because the rest of them are Mustangs. I absolutely love the colour on this, and yeah, Mustangs are cool, but you can't beat an old Ford. We've built up a little crew over there, and the Capri has started up to go, so it looks like it's just going to be a Mustang meet from now on. Now, this Mach 1 is cool. I do really like the colour on it, but I have to say, this one is probably my favourite. And I never even used to like this shape. Although I do miss the times, like, when was it, 2014-ish, when Mustangs were actually rare, and when you saw one, it was really special. Now, you see so many of them. I mean, they are still cool, but they're not as special as they were when they first came over to the UK, obviously. Although saying that, we do have this bag TT here, and yes, it was bad because it aired out when it got here, but it only seems to have aired out the front and not the back. But apart from that, that is pretty much the only cars left of the meet, and it has started raining again. There is actually another Mark 2.5 Sport way off in the distance there, which we did check out earlier. I do actually quite like the colour on it, to be fair. But whilst we wait for Pavel to show up, we're going to take it's locked. We're going to take a seat in Ying's car. Right, and Pavel has arrived. Yes, we have a very odd group of cars. Oh. He's on air. Yeah, you can literally see your belts from the engine.
There should be a cover for that, but I don't have it.
Right, so I guess that was that for the meet. As you can see, Pavel's just leaving now. But yeah, it wasn't really the best one this week. I think with the weather being how it has been, not a lot of people really fancied it. But now is the perfect time to talk to you about what I'm doing with this. Well, what I'm thinking about doing at the moment, because, you know, plans change. Now, I'm planning on keeping this car very long term and doing a lot to it, but I don't want to pump money into mods and then find out on an MOT that I need something like the chassis rails welded, because things like that aren't cheap. So before I do anything, I want to get it up on a ramp and have a look underneath it to see if anything needs addressing, and then if not, I want to try and get it protected so it doesn't rot away over winter. But obviously, I don't have a ramp and I'm no expert. I kind of know what I'm looking for, but I've been messaging around to see if anyone who really knows what they're doing can basically just give it a good look over and tell me, like, this will need doing, you need to get this sorted. And once I know that any of the maintenance issues have been prevented as much as possible and the car's okay, then we can start modding, and I cannot wait. So because they're so cheap, a lot of MX5 owners just don't really care and they just start modding it, and then later they find out that they need loads of welding done and they end up just scrapping the car. But I absolutely love this thing. I've honestly fallen in love with it since owning it, and I don't want it to have the same fate as a lot of the MX5s do. So I really want to do things properly. Don't get me wrong, I want to do a lot of it myself, so I know I'm going to make mistakes, but I want to know that I have a good base so, you know, it doesn't do me over later on. But this is the car that I want to learn with and I want to make proper content on. I also want this to be the first turboed car that I've owned. Now, you heard me say earlier that I don't want a juice kit. Don't get me wrong, a juice kit in a duck towel looks absolutely amazing. But I think at the moment, I really want to go down like the Mazda Speed and Tupperware kit sort of mix with a big wing on the back as well. Not crazy wing, like a RX-7 wing or something like that. Obviously go for smaller wheels as well and sort that fitment out because yeah, that's not my favourite part about the car. But I don't want to go down like a specific track car route or skid car route. I kind of like the fact that it is fun to drive around B roads and you can also skid it around if you want to. Don't forget, this is still my daily. I mean, if you like and subscribe, then maybe I can get another car and then this can be like a specific drift car or a track car, you know? Nah, I'm kidding. But if you do want to follow the journey and see where this car goes, make sure you subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram as well, as I post some more content on there too. But like I said before in previous videos, I want to make a lot more content in there, but I'm not sure whether you guys want to see like the videos about, you know, restoring these headlights. So if you do, let me know in the comments below, because there are loads of little bits like that aren't like crazy mods, but they are steps of the build. So if you do want to see that, then let me know. Another thing I never was a fan was the dual exit exhaust, but it's really growing on me. And imagine this lowered with a wing as well. I think the rear shot of that would look amazing with two exhaust pipes. But I don't know, my mind changes on this thing all the time. I have so many different ideas, but I just wanted to keep you guys updated on where we're at because there hasn't been many mods. I'm just trying to fend off the rust and protect the roof as well, but I don't want to throw money at something that's not worth it. I spent a lot of money and a lot of people spent a lot of time on my Escort trying to get it running right, and then when it finally did, we got done over with it, and it's not a good feeling. I'm trying to record as much as possible, but I don't have an inside space, so when it's pouring down, which it has been for literally the last month, it's kind of hard to pretty much get any video done. But I'm trying to come up with ideas to tackle that. But that's it for this video. It's a shame more cars didn't come to the meet, but I hope you still enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. I'm still really excited about the journey ahead, and hopefully the MX5 gets to a point where we can get into a few shows next summer. But thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.